I'm sure you are aware of the famous thing that happened where we had to call for a postponement of this. Didn't have anybody to be at the high level. It is not lawyer Peter Derry and some senior people. We couldn't be represented. So this is what we are pushing for. We know we're in a political season, the timing and all those things, but we need to be represented properly. Other countries were there putting the pressure and making sure that it happened. So this is one of the things that we want to do. So
today's discussion is a post-COP debrief. This debrief simply means that we've attended COP29, we've participated in negotiations, we've participated in side events, and now we are back in Ghana trying to reflect, retreat and reflect and decide what have we achieved and inform the general public what the whole process is about as we prepare for the next COP. So COP happens every year and the next one is going to happen in Brazil. We're looking at what our steps and successes have been for Azerbaijan 2020, COP29, and now we are back to look at what will happen for COP30 next year and how do we prepare for that. Some of the key outcomes from COP29 was the agreement that we had on Article 6, which is the carbon market. So right from the Kyoto Protocol time where they have been talking about somebody need to pay for the pollution that is happening, at the same time they are asking that payment mechanism should be in the form that somebody pays by taking credit for work that is being done elsewhere to act on climate. Now in COP29 that transformed and became a market mechanism that has actually been agreed upon. And so we are talking of, countries like Ghana where we are having waste management issues, where we are having deforestation and all that. We're looking at how do we actually quantify these things in monetary terms when we are reclaiming land by planting trees or when we are working on recycling and what have you. There was another mechanism which was also agreed upon, which is also the financing gap that's been negotiated years upon years. And parties came together and were able to pledge to a tune of 300 billion. But even though as much as we are not satisfied as civil society and other groups within this, we are also thinking that that was a success in the form of progress, because it encourages people to increase their pledges more, but it's also now sets us on a path that we can make demands for people to really commit and then put in the money, because until you really get them to move the first step, you cannot really make a request that, hey, you said this and we have not received it yet. So these are some of the things that I think were positive outcomes, and we are looking forward to the next COP30. For GAIO, we went to this COP29. For us, we looked at finance in terms of the work that we are doing, and we also know that methane is being something that is a critical super pollutant, but it's also an opportunity for governments and also civil society and private sector to act on climate and get quicker results. So we've been working on methane through our zero waste work here in Ghana and other African countries. Looking forward to Brazil COP30, what we are actually anticipating is to see critical commitments that come specifically on how nations are going to triple and double down their commitments for mitigation, particularly on food waste and organic waste, curbing methane and closing down landfill sites, and being able to also implement those technologies that's able to capture the gas that's even coming from the landfill site already. But at the same time, we are also looking at the inclusion and just transition component of working on organic waste, particularly because we work with a lot of waste pickers, some of whom are not able to get jobs in the main market, and so actually making sure that this sector is financed fully and this sector is considered into policy discourse is going to be an opportunity not only for us as NGOs, but also for those waste pickers who are going to get jobs and also being able to school and support their families.
Climate change, and then why we are here today, I think this is a youth debriefing from COP29. What did the young people actually witness during the COP, and what are they communicating to the rest of Ghanaians to be able to take action? So the COP actually focused on a number of things, but the key thing was on finance, money. The French will say l'argent, and then the German will say Geld, and then an Italian will say soldi. So this is a very important component of implementation. And so when we went to Baku in November, the expectation was that we would get about 1.3 trillion every year to address climate change in developing countries. Unfortunately, that was not materialized. However, we had a more recognized target, which is 300 billion provision of financing every year to support climate action. What it means is that because I'm speaking to the media, I need to clarify this. This money is not going to sit somewhere and then they'll be given to countries. You take 50, take 100. No. How much you can get as a country depends on your effort as a country to come out with project proposals and then also programs that can be able to access these funds. These funds or the pledges end up in different mechanisms. So the Green Climate Fund, the Adaptation Fund, the Global Environment Facility, the multilateral development banks, and so on and so forth. And so countries must be able to build their own internal capacities to be able to access these funds. And then I've been encouraging the young people, because everybody qualifies to access these funds. So it's not only doing advocacy, but they can also build their capacity to be able to access these funds. We also had a very good decision on carbon markets, which also helps us to be able to trade carbon at the international level to also get money to address development challenges in the country. There were a number of things that we're expecting. We got some decisions that were encouraging, others were disappointing. But this is negotiation. At the negotiation table, you can't get everything. You can win some and then lose some. At the end of the day, you come up at compromises that will benefit everybody. And that's exactly what the expectations were. We are preparing and also planning for the next COP, which will be next year in Brazil, going into this COP with full preparation with all stakeholders on board. Whether we like it or not, the climate is changing, it's affecting people, it's affecting ecosystems. Everybody is affected, and everybody or every Ghanaian is also affecting the climate. Therefore, all of us must be able to come on board. What it means is that government institutions like the EPA and other lead institutions should be able to create awareness to the MPs, to the ministers, to cabinets, to lecturers, to market women, to school children, to drivers, to maids. What it means is that everybody is in this picture, and especially to the media, so that this message, this education can travel very far. Thank you.
So it is now to you to come up with the justice statute. So they started hearing from 10th of December until 13th of December at the International Court of Justice. We went there latter part of November, and then the following week or two, they started sitting on the issue. So if you are not...
And the event is debriefing of COP29 to the general public. So it includes stakeholders from the civil society organizations, NGO, academic institution, policymakers. So we have gathered here. My role is to talk about the institutional role, especially research institutions' role on climate change in Ghana and how we are contributing to the nationally determined contributions. We have version 3 of it from Ghana to be submitted to the UNFCCC. So I'm going to talk to the audience on the role of institutions, especially research institutions, as I said earlier on. So research institutions into the capacity building of the people who do the negotiation. We support, develop the document that informs the nationally determined contribution. So we do the baseline research that's what are the possibilities of what Ghana can do in terms of climate change, adaptation and mitigation. So the NDCs, which is the nationally determined contribution, focuses more on mitigation efforts. There is also adaptation effort, but the UNFCCC's interest is more of the mitigation effort. So Ghana has prepared its document focusing on both adaptation and mitigation. So as a country in developing sector, in the global south, our interest is more of adaptation than mitigation. But obviously, all of us must contribute at the mitigation front. So we have it both in the nationally determined contribution from Ghana, and that is some of the roles that we play. I myself, a researcher on the Ghana climate change team. So we do attend the conference of parties we typically call COP, that is organized by the UNFCCC on climate change at different countries every year. This year we attended COP29, and the event is to brief people of Ghana what transpired at Azerbaijan in Baku, what the negotiations were on in Baku. This year, more focus went on finance, how the developed countries are contributing to climate change, especially their contribution into the Green Climate Fund. I would say that they are not forthcoming on their contributions to support climate change to vulnerable countries that are supposed to use the money for adaptation, typically. Of course, in the Green Climate Fund, to even assess this, you need to present a proposal, though it's for adaptation, but there also element of mitigation in there. So the COP focused on financing the various aspects of UNFCCC articles, and that is what we are doing here at the moment at CSI Alstepri. I will entreat all Ghanaians to be conscious of the issues of climate change. There are two aspects. Climate is happening. We need to adapt. As it is happening, at the same time, we need to also mitigate the effect of climate change. So we need a collective effort as people of Ghana to support the mitigation efforts by government and, of course, the adaptation as well. Whether we like it or not, climate change is happening and we need to adapt. So we need to be conscious. We need to tell from different capacities. If yours is to do advocacy, please come on board. If you can help with research, come on board. Anyway, everyone can. Let's do this together. Thank you.